Ian.
Dave.
All right, buddy. Today, here's what we got. Everybody, this is the Apex Adjacent Podcast. I'm Dave. I've just eaten 3 cookies, so I'm on a sugar high. You're Ian.
I'm Ian. I'm Ian, and I love when Dave gets a sugar rush.
Yep, coming in hot. We're going to have a sparkly boy. And here's how tonight's episode is going to work, okay? So this is what, Ian? This is a car show, right? We've got some car topics to talk about this evening. Not all of them are fun, okay? Let's just say we're going to talk about some rough stuff, right?
Okay.
And also some non-car rough stuff, okay? This wouldn't be the first time that we talk about that kind of stuff on the show, right?
No.
It's not just happy times, not just sad times. It's a reflection of what we're dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like it or not, this is essentially us talking to like 10 people on the internet. And sometimes we just got things we want to get off our chest.
Exactly, right? So here's how it's going to work tonight, because I think I have the formula figured out, okay? We're going to have a more heady, more difficult, more downer topic, okay? Then I'm going to pick stuff back up, okay? I got you, boo, all right? I'm going to...
Okay.
I got a little amuse-bouche planned for you. Okay.
I just want to point out to the listeners / viewers that we have not really talked about any of these topics in advance, really. But Dave just assumes that I'm going to be the downer and that he's going to need to pick up the pieces. Safe assumption.
Yeah, I was going to say, given these topics, the topics are not like Nerf footballs, right? Like, okay. All right. So then, guess what? We're going to have another downer topic. Okay. Boom. Who's your ginger boy right there with another pick me up? Okay. Your little bowl of Captain Crunch ready to make things right. Okay. All right.
Did you just give yourself an adorable pet name?
Maybe peanut butter Captain Crunch, to be more specific. The one more likely to cut the roof of your mouth. When I was a little kid, I used to eat it right before I'd go to bed, and then I'd have really weird dreams and go sleepwalking. My sister found me one time at my grandpa's workbench when we were visiting my grandparents, and I was like, banging my fingers on the workbench. And for some reason, I was dreaming about something where I had a slice of cheese. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to pick you back up. Okay. All right. And then we're going to have our usual tomfoolery, right? We've got some listener my eyes. I've got a license plate game for you. All right.
Sounds great.
Okay.
It's a full show.
Right. Apex Adjacent Podcast. Here we go. Ian.
Yes.
Topic number 1. It's been all over the internet.
Yeah.
Go ahead and hit us.
Right. So last week was Car Week out on the West Coast. And, kind of the big culmination of this is the Pebble Beach Concourse, right? The biggest car show in the world, or the most kind of like prestigious one.
Most prestigious, most snooty, most like typically a pre-war car wins. It's like these are people that just are in such an insane rarefied air. Like,
yes.
Anyway, right.
A lot of people saying thus and so.
yes.
Thus and so.
Ascots everywhere.
You can't swing a dead, very rare, very expensive bred cat without hitting an ascot.
Exactly.
But anyway, so the controversy this year is that the most prestigious prize, the Best in Show prize, was awarded to a car with kind of questionable provenance and, even more questionable history. There it is. Some Nazi car, one pebble. So it's this old pre-war Mercedes, a 540K, long German word. And there's some part of the controversy is that there's one of the stories about the car is that this car may have in its previous life been a gift from Hitler to somebody else.
Yeah, the Hitler, the fucking awful dude. It may have been a gift
I like how you explained who Hitler was.
from Hitler to someone else. Like,
Yes.
people don't say that about many cars, right?
Right.
The fact, like, nobody knows if it's actually true or not, but that's attached to this car, right? It may have been.
Yes. And, you know, obviously Mercedes in Hitler Germany and pre-Hitler Germany had its own issues just as a company and of itself. But I think that this brings up a couple of really interesting questions that are worth kind of delving into, because I think my first like knee-jerk reaction to it when I read it was just like, ugh,
Right.
like why?
Right.
Why?
And of course, like, this is, you know, in this era, a fucking Nazi car wins Pebble Beach. Great.
Right. But then, so honestly, I was talking to my wife about it, and I think part of this is it's a complicated. It becomes very fraught very quickly, because your answer to the question of like what a car is kind of leads you to your reaction to this. So like if your thing is like the car is just a machine, it's just an object with no real meaning attached to it, then sure, reward whatever restoration is the best.
Right, exactly.
And then who gives a shit? Move on with your day. And I think that was kind of the angle that she was coming from. It like, well, it's a reward for the restoration, not the history of the car.
Right.
Okay, I kind of get that argument if that's what you attach to a car, which is like nothing, right? But if you say that a car, like I think we would, is the sum of, you know, all of the history that's been put into it and the relationships that people had with it, and all
how
of that.
It came to be, right? The era in which it came to be, the like the shoes that the people walked in that made it, like all of this, like all of the messy stuff, right?
Yes, because you're rewarding basically the love and time and effort that was put into the restoration, and that's essentially a relationship, right? And so that you can't separate that relationship from the other relationships. I think that would be the argument on the other end of the spectrum.
Right.
I think the third option, though, which is where it gets really sticky, is if it's a piece of art.
Okay.
Because then you get into the whole, and we've talked about this on the show before in other contexts, of like, can you separate the art from the artist?
Right.
And all of that. And I'm usually inclined to say, yes, you can separate those two.
Right. I think you fall more to that than I do.
Yes. And I don't always feel that way.
Right.
And I don't think you always feel the other way.
Right. Do you still listen to Kanye?
I do still listen to Kanye.
Can't.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's, to me, that one, I'm like, if that's the answer to what is this car, if it's just a mechanical object, or if it's the sum of its parts, those two answers are very clear to me, depending on what the answer is to that. But then if the answer is it's a piece of art, then I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not sure if it's a problem or not. Right.
Okay. I have a couple questions. So
yes.
Is the next logical step on the answer of is it a piece of art is that, can you separate the art from the artist, right? Does this give you an opportunity to enjoy a car just for being a car, right? Is that kind of the next step from that? Is this?
Well, I don't know, because
well, then why are you asking the question?
I'm more just trying to understand. I think the reason I thought of that question was because the reactions to this story have been so kind of varied
Okay.
among people. And I was trying to understand what would lead people to different conclusions. And I think that
Okay.
the like that question someplace back in your mind is what leads you, is what starts you down the path of evaluating, like, is this a problem or not, basically. So I was
Okay.
just trying to understand how people got to all these different conclusions. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, if the answer to that initial question was different for me, where would I land? And I personally, I am more on the side of, like, you could give it to any other car. Why
Right.
give it to the Nazi car? Like,
Right.
why not take that into consideration? Like, the person who won this award does not need this
Right.
award.
Right.
It's not like we're depriving somebody of something. So then why do it? But it's a fun, not fun is probably the wrong word. It's not fun. It's an interesting thought experiment to run through about cars as art, because I think at this point, a pre-war car is not really a car anymore, right? It's not like nobody's getting their groceries in this thing.
Right. That's true.
So it's closer to a piece of art than it is a car at this point. And I don't know, then it's more difficult, I think.
Okay. All right. So it is more difficult, in your opinion, if it does slide more towards the art end of, like, a utilitarian device versus an artistic expression.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, because I think cars are different, right? I don't think cars are art. You know what I mean? Like, if this was a painting and somebody did a restoration on it, and at some point it had been confiscated by a Nazi and it was in Nazis' possession at some point in its past, I think that our feeling about it would be different. No?
It would be, but if it was a Nazi painting that was restored, our feelings would be the same.
Yes. If it was a painting of Hitler that Hitler did.
No. If it was made by a Nazi, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't care if it's flowers, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? Because a flower is as much an object as this car is, right?
Yes.
When it comes to, a flower can't hold political views. A flower didn't commit a Holocaust. The car didn't commit the Holocaust. Human beings did, right? Yeah. And human beings are attached to this car that have awful history.
Yes,
right?
I agree. I agree completely.
Right. And so, like, I completely understand what you're saying about, like, this car didn't need it, right? This person, like, I think where I potentially split hairs with you is on the statement about this person, we're not depriving this person of anything. I think that, like, the higher up you go in wealth, if a single thing is taken from you, it probably feels more, right? The sense of entitlement accelerates, right, as someone's wealth does.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But to be fair, what you're saying is any reasonable person would understand that this person does not need this award, right?
Right. Yeah, I wasn't talking about their personal perception of it.
Right.
It was
absolutely
the fact that they don't.
Exactly. Right. They don't need this fucking award. Yeah. So I think that I think a lot about Confederate monuments, right? I think a lot about that, like, with all of our, political stuff that's happened in the United States in the last 5-6 years, Trump coming into power, like, all of this, like, the rise in fascism and authoritarianism, and these, like, all of the stuff that's happened around the Confederate monuments has been really, it's been tough to see people make an effort to retain them in the space that they exist, right? Like, I understand the difference between history and heritage, but also heralding, like, these individuals, right? like, I understand that, like, we will only be made better as a society if we are honest about the atrocities that we've committed, that other people have committed, like all of this stuff. We've done awful things to the native peoples in every single land that we've gone into. Like, there's all kinds of awful stuff, right? And we need to understand that. We need to reconcile that. Like, and having a Confederate monument remain in a city standing, like, I've heard opinions about how black people feel when they walk past those monuments, right? When they stand in front of them, like, because they have to walk that way every single day, right? Like, and the feelings that it evokes in them, and then the feelings that they get when they see people try, like, insisting that those things remain in place, when they're not asking for this to be completely erased from history, but to kind of be put in a place where they can be observed in a more, I guess, introspective manner, right? Mm-hmm. Than to be literally put on a pedestal and awarded, right? To tie it back to Pebble Beach, right? Like, this car, like, I can see it being in a museum. I can see it being an example of, like, this is what the people of this time were doing with the technology that they had, right? Like, this, like, if it had completely decayed and people restored it so that people could understand, like, what techniques were used, what achievements were made in, like, the production of something like this, fine, right? That's okay. So, I'm okay spending efforts, for that kind of stuff, where I get
the same way people restore weapons.
Exactly.
Various
right?
periods of history,
great,
right?
Yeah, great correlation, Ian. Yeah, awesome. Where I get, and there's no other word to describe it other than, yikes. Like, like, where I get yikesy is where, like, you fucking give it the highest award at Pebble, right?
Right, when you're venerating it.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Yes. Like, yes, that individual car does not have political views. It didn't do anything wrong, right? But it came from a time when some stuff was really sketchy. Like, and as much as, like, not to slippery slope it, but, like, Volkswagen Bugs and Henry Ford and, like, fucking Walt Disney, like, all of this shit has, really bad shit in its past, right? It, like, as does me, right? As does you. Like, just the fact that, like, we're sitting on the soil that we're sitting on, like, we have bad shit in our past, right? Like, like, being honest about it and, like, having a conversation and being receptive to the people that might be upset by something like this is the thing that needs to happen, right?
Yes. And I want to be clear too, that where I was going with my very long and meandering discussion earlier was that I think the people who go to Pebble and who judge at Pebble and all of that, I think in isolation would agree that a car is not just a mechanical thing and it's not just a piece of art. It's somewhere in between, and it's something that people do have a relationship with, and it does have a relationship with the culture in which it was produced. And so if that's the case, if you accept that, then you can't be okay with venerating a car like this. I think that it wouldn't, I don't necessarily agree that they should, like, be crushed or anything. I don't think we should destroy the cars, but you're right. There's a difference between restoring a car for historical purposes, or even just because you like it, and giving it an award. Those are two different things, right? And they're not being true to how they feel about their cars, or they're not being true to how they feel personally about cars,
right?
By ignoring the context.
Right. It's really easy to just turn a blind eye to an aspect of something, right? Like, okay.
But then why have Pebble?
Exactly. Right.
If they're just mechanical things, then why have Pebble?
Right. Exactly. We'll just give an award to somebody who just, like, lays up the best fiberglass on a curve. right?
Yeah.
Like a sculpture, right? Yeah.
Right. Restore paint that's just on a flat piece of metal then.
Right. Right.
And what difference is there?
Another thing that crosses my mind from time to time is the individual that came up with or was really responsible for Canada adopting their single-payer health system, right? So their single-payer health system is pretty good. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but I have a lot of family that's Canadian, so I have like actual real human experience with how their health system has worked. You still have to get supplemental dental. You still have to get vision differently because I guess like for dental, I guess your teeth are just special bones that need boutique insurance. Like I think that's a Dan Sheehan joke. But anyway, like so the guy that was responsible for their health system, and it's made such a positive impact on so many people's lives because it does treat healthcare as a human right in that country, right? Which I firmly believe in. So that guy has a problematic past, right? Like there's been some stuff. I can't remember what it is. I probably should have done some research, but I didn't know we'd get into this. But I know that guy has like some weird shit in his past, right?
Okay.
But he still did this thing that benefited so many people's lives, right? And still advocated for this thing to the point where he is actually on some Canadian currency, right? And I don't know if they've changed it or not, but I know he was at some point, right? And like, I understand like that achievement, like making that like calling out like this one person did this thing. But I think that there always needs to be a conjunction in that sentence, right? Where it's like, but you should read the rest of the article here. Like,
right.
Like let's not turn a blind eye to it. Like nobody's perfect, first of all, right? Like we've all done, things that we wish we would have done differently, right? But there's, certainly some awful things that have happened, right? But like let's just be honest about it. Let's not give it an insane award. Like let's just put it in a place where it's more appropriate to understand the context of that. And like, I don't know, like if you want to die on that hill of like, this car absolutely deserved the award, we are going to ignore that aspect of its history. Like, then you're not being honest about like the way that kind of stuff should be perceived.
Right. And you're not being honest about why cars are special and deserve an event like Pebble anyway.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, exactly about the judges. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
They're not being honest with themselves, right? Because what they'd say in private would be different.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it removed from the context of should this Nazi car win the award.
Right.
I think they would agree with. Yeah. Yes. It's a car is directly relevant to the culture and vice versa. And that it's more than just a mechanical thing, and it's more than just a piece of art. And I think they would agree with all of those statements, but then I don't think that's like intellectually consistent with ignoring that context for this thing,
Right. Right.
I don't know.
Do you want to hear my abbreviated take?
I would love to, because this has been a very long take.
I think it's fucking ugly. I don't care for like giant phallus cars, like these pre-war cars. I could give two shits about them, man. Like I really don't care.
See, and I honestly, I do like 30s era streamline cars. I do. So I think it's pretty, but I don't. Why would you? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just there are so many other cars to choose from.
Right. There are so many other cars to choose from. Ian?
Yes.
Do you want a little amuse-bouche?
I do. I want a little palate cleanser.
Okay. All right.
Oh my God.
Ian,
Oh my God.
Look at the little baby. Ian, my wife and I are fostering kittens again.
Oh my goodness,
baby.
he's adorable.
Look at his little face. Oh my god. Ian.
I would give this cat best in show at Pebble Beach.
Exactly right.
It's the best car. This cat is the best car.
Okay, I'm gonna go give him back to Mama.
Okay.
Ian,
Bravo.
Kittens.
Bravo.
Kittens, baby kittens, Ian. We got 6 little babies. They're not even 3 weeks old.
Oh my god.
And the mom's a lover too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, evidently.
Yeah.
That's how the other 6 things happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
Still not clear on all that.
Yeah, what? Oh, wait, what? They do what?
Oh my god.
So there you go. There's a kitten amuse-bouche to kind of close the fucking Apex adjacent take on the Nazi bullshit car that, like, yeah. So
Yeah.
Fuck that car.
Yeah.
Yep. Specifically that car. Yeah.
That one.
Let's yeet it into the sun. Yep. Yep. Okay.
Well, let's bring the mood up a bit.
Okay. All right.
Or not. I'm not sure if I want to or not, actually.
Do you want to get into that stuff tonight? It's completely up to you. I am up for you. You know I got you, boo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I would like to say just like 2 quick things about Afghanistan, because so I don't know. It's weird because like I feel like sometimes I'm the in my groups of friends, like I'm often like the veteran in the room,
Right. Right.
the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that it's completely, I just want to say that it's like completely fair to criticize and place blame with the current administration for the tactical failures that we're seeing these last few days, which are horrific and terrible and awful. And, just not fun to see, but the die was cast like 20 years ago, right? Like we were always going to end up here.
It was never going to end well, right?
Right. And it's our fault.
Right.
All of our fault that it didn't end well, because we are not in a place, and this is related to every other ill that we have as a country. We're not in a place where we're in anything together, right? Like, I feel like the right has completely won this argument of being just a bunch of individuals that happen to live next to each other with no obligation to each other.
Right.
And the left has had there's no like leadership on that front from that side either to convince people that no, it's bad if the kid down the street goes to Afghanistan and fucking dies, right? That's bad for you. That's not good for you. Which is true, and also kind of like a necessary thing for a society to work. That understanding, right?
Right.
And so the idea that we're going to be able as a country to put together a coherent strategy, which is what's needed, a strategy to do anything, let alone build someone else's country, is fucking absurd. So of course we ended up here because we had no discussion about it. There was never a discussion about what was going to happen there. We invaded, declared victory, and then it was 20 years of everyone ignoring it. So of course this is what happened.
Right.
So, personally, it feels terrible. I never went to Afghanistan, but it brings up a lot of feelings of, arriving in Iraq and realizing that this is a fucking waste and it's just a slow moving tragedy that nobody has any control over. And that's not a great feeling. And whenever stuff like this happens, it just kind of like brings that back up. So,
Right.
Luckily I have a place on the internet to just complain about it to a dozen people.
But my wife had a really good analogy for that kind of stuff. Like, whenever those kinds of things kind of bring that stuff up, like you just picture like the ocean, like, and the sea floor, and just like whenever something comes in contact with just that water just getting super cloudy, right?
Yeah.
Right. like that kind of like that emotional reaction, like that visceral, like tangible, like thing that you can really like, it is like a tactile thing, right? Like it has permanence, and it is really hard to deal with when that stuff gets scraped up, man. You know? Yeah. My heart goes out to you because like I respect your opinion about like all matters military more than anyone else I've ever met in my entire life, right? Like I've never told you that, and I don't know if you know that, but like I absolutely respect and trust your opinion about that stuff more than anybody I've ever met, right? You know, because you have this like very wide view about it, right? It's not just a narrow mind where like there are so many people that approach it as like, you know, like eye for an eye, you know, like this kind of stuff, like they hurt us, we're going to hurt them back, blah, blah, blah. Right. Like there's not enough like introspection and looking at a massive scope. And I really appreciate the way you do that, you know, and then the way that you're honest about like how you feel and how you feel amongst other people that were in the same situation as you know?
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I appreciate that. I think that's pretty unearned. I mean, I was never a combat veteran or anything like that. But, you know, it was, I don't know. I don't know. I think part of that is just I went into it with a different outlook, and I was never like super thrilled about it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. When, you know, people talk about being taken back to certain, you know, times or certain memories or whatever, whenever stuff like this happens in the news. And for me, it's very weird. Like I remember standing for like a really long time. There was this, when I was in Iraq, where I was in Kirkuk, and the air base there, and there was this huge gravel parking lot, essentially, just a huge gravel, because all the military bases it's all gravel,
right?
Just put gravel down everywhere. So it's just a huge gravel parking lot, and it's just like an assortment of like shit that was shipped over, like trucks and Humvees and all sorts of crazy, just random shit that I remember at the end of my deployment, I was standing there looking at all of it and just realizing like I had never seen anything move in or out of this parking lot.
Oh, okay.
Right. And just, I remember staying there I probably stood there for 10, 15 minutes, just trying to extrapolate like how much money and resources we put into moving that pickup truck over there.
Right. Exactly. Here. Right.
And just like the scale of the things that had to happen for that truck to be sitting in front of me and then sit there.
Right. Doing
for 6 months.
Nothing. Right.
Right. Like, and the effort that went into that, and like the kind of just seeming like thoughtlessness of everything else that happened while I was there, it was just like a complete mind fuck, right? Like that's all we're good at is tactics and not strategy. And it's the same reason why we fund the police instead of mental health and
Right.
putting people in houses and healthcare, right? Because that's a tactical response to someone's beating on my door or bugging me at the corner, and not a strategic response of like, well, let's get this person back into society, right? Like
Right.
those two, what we're seeing in Afghanistan is directly connected to that, because it's a symptom of the same problem. And we're going to continue to lock people up unnecessarily because of it. And people like me are going to end up in fucking war zones for generations to come because of the same dumb reasons,
Right.
Right. And that is beyond the unspeakable tragedy of what's happening to the people in Afghanistan, which are they're essentially been bystanders to all of this for 50 years now. That's also tragic that we just cannot get our shit together in that respect. So yeah, that's where my head's at about it.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. Like it's awful to see. The headlines are really hard to read, and it's really stuff.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think you map a lot more into it than some folks. Like, as a parent, like, you think you're not just thinking about your end, you're thinking about the world your kids are going to grow up in. Right.
Yeah.
Like, you don't stop thinking when it gets to like a certain point in time, like, yeah, it's tough. It is really tough. And it is like that stress on top of so many other stresses right now, right? Like make it worse and make that seawater so much more murky,
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think that like the thing that we're resigning ourselves to is understanding that seawater is never going to clear up, right? That we just have to learn how to navigate it as it is.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, man.
Give me another fucking kitten. Where are the kittens?
On it.
Bring me a kitten.
Ian, I couldn't give you a kitten because they're all nursing right now.
Oh.
The mama had them all lined up. So here, let me show you a picture. Yeah, they were all lined up. Yeah. So here you go. Let's see if this comes through. My background blur is screwing it up.
Oh.
Right?
I love it. I also love that I've devolved into like a spoiled princeling. Bring me a kitten. Fetch me a feline.
I want to see one for my entertainment. I shall not change its litter box. That's for someone else to do. Yeah, no, they were all six all lined up on Mama, so I wasn't going to disturb them. Yeah, I opened the door and she looked at me like, "Really? Now?"
That's amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so apologies I did not bring you a kitten, but what else can I do for you, buddy? What else do you want to talk about?
Let me do a really quick virtual garage update.
Yes, let's talk about it.
Because I did do a thing last night. I attended my first iRace.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think it's actually pronounced erasing.
Okay. All right.
No, so I did. I recently, we talked about getting the steering wheel and stuff like that. And Jeff from Everyone Racers emailed us and was like, "Hey, you should join us on Monday night." So I did it last night. I had only ever done like a couple of practice sessions on iRacing before.
Okay.
And so I did a race for the first time. They do a cool format where they do like, yesterday they did 2 oval tracks and then they had like a practice qualifier and a race.
Oh, okay.
And they did 2 rounds of that.
Okay.
The first race, I was disqualified. It turns out you can get black flags in iRacing, and if you don't serve the penalty, you get kicked out of the race.
What did you do?
I don't remember.
I had a couple
of black flags.
I like it when your memory gets foggy selectively around these events.
It was Oh, I remember what it was. It was an oval track, and I went down too low at one point to get around a car, and it thought I was entering the pit lane. So like I
Okay.
went into the pit lane entrance and must have gone just over a line or something.
Okay.
And so it was like improper pit lane entry, and I was like, I was racing. I don't know.
Okay.
So I didn't do it, and then it disqualified me, and I couldn't get back in. I was like, oh, well, that sucks. But then the second race, I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep my nose clean.
I like it when you get your act together.
I fucking won.
Did you?
They're on a Discord server, and I very slowly sort of just made my way up because they're all chatting, and I was taking it very seriously, like concentrating and sweating,
No
and
talking,
and really trying to concentrate and race cleanly, and at some point, Mental from Everyone Racers was like, wait, is Ian leading? And I was like, shh, don't say anything. And then with like 2 laps to go, I was still in the lead. And I was like, so is now a good time to tell you guys this is my first iRacing experience? And one of the people was like, oh, you're definitely going to get fucking crashed now. And so they were starting, like, Mental at one point, like, parked in the middle of the thing trying to get me. And I had to, like, zigzag around people.
Okay. And you still won. My boy still won.
I was. It's definitely like a not serious racing.
Right.
It's like definitely supposed to be a good time.
Yes.
And I ruined it by showing up and winning. But yeah, I was pretty psyched.
You're the curve ruiner in the exam, aren't you?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, not typically, but yeah.
No.
But when it comes to racing, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
how many people were in each race?
I think it was like 12, maybe.
Oh, snap. Okay, cool.
10 or 12, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think I finally have my rig dialed and I should be able to join. So there is a voice chat that's happening the whole time. Is that on Discord?
Yeah, they go through Discord for that.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, so if you're interested if you iRace, go check out Everyone Racers, and maybe you can do their Monday night league as well. It's a good time.
Nice, buddy. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
I have a virtual garage update as well.
Oh.
I have moved to a 3-monitor setup.
Oh, I'm jealous. I'm jealous because I have a single monitor and it's a little rough.
I had 2 monitors I didn't really need anymore because I went with a new monitor for the Hackintosh here. Yeah, it's they're a different size, so the scaling is just a touch different. But that kind of just goes away from your mind when you're when you're racing. So yeah, I have a 32-inch monitor in the middle and 24s on the side. So
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking sweet, man. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'll have to get whatever I need to get for iRacing. A subscription, was it like $8 a month or something like that? Or
yeah, I don't know. I think I did the yearly one. It was like $50 or something like that.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
It's cool. And they do mostly like free tracks because you can buy a bunch of stuff. So they did all. I didn't have to buy anything yesterday.
Nice. So, good. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was awesome.
Nice, man. That's sweet. How do you like the iRacing physics compared to like Assetto Corsa, and then like Project Cars is like kind of just cartoony now, but yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely more intense. Some of the little things I'm like, okay, like, does that really need to be
simulated?
like you can get parked into your pit stall.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Like, okay, do we need to simulate that? Really?
Right.
That's just an annoyance.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's great. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay, nice.
And I think I didn't quite get it when I was racing by myself. I was just like, this just seems hard.
Okay.
But racing with other people, it definitely makes a little more sense to me.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. What cars were you in last night?
I was in the first race. I was in a Porsche Cayman, on like a
Okay.
little oval, which is
Okay.
not the right car.
Right.
And then the next one I did like a like a stock car, essentially.
Okay.
Not a NASCAR, but like a, you know, like a late model kind of oval track car.
Gotcha. Was that something you could select, or was that just set across the board for all competitors?
Yeah, everybody had like 6 cars to choose from, the same
Okay.
6 cars, and it was like kind of a goofy mix of cars, which is fun.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was cool.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Well, yeah.
There were
I'll
some
have to
pretty
check that
epic
out.
crashes.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing victory donuts, and someone just, I mean, sent me just tumbling, and they were like, "We don't do victory donuts." I was like, "Apparently not."
You know what that's going to cause? You doing more victory donuts.
And don't think I'm gonna win next time.
Yeah. Yeah. You might get crashed. Yeah. You might have an incident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
Well, I think people just weren't paying attention,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was just very quietly like,
I like that you're taking like the Metal Gear Solid approach to iRacing. Like you're hiding in a cardboard box on the fucking track.
yeah, yeah,
We thought that was a bush. It turned out it was Ian the whole time.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Your car is a ghillie suit.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Nice, man. Well done, Ian. Well done.
Thank you.
You did Apex Adjacent proud.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
What else do we got? We got it looks like we got some My Eyes and a license plate game still to go.
We do. We have some listener My Eyes, and we have a license plate game. I actually have 2 license plate games for you.
Oh,
We can keep one for next time. So
I think we should keep one for our guest coming up next week.
yes, that's a great idea. And actually, that would be a 3rd one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I think he's going to enjoy those.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Okay. Let's see here.
Big guest.
Don't jinx it, Ian.
Big guest.
Okay. All right. Let me share my browser tab here.
Large visitor.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
Significant caller.
Our buddy Mark Freeman sent us a picture of his father's Colorado plate. So this is Colorado's the centennial state, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is his centennial license plate, right? And this was the license plate on Mark's first car.
Oh, that's cool.
And I gotta say, I freaking love the design of it.
I do too.
I wish they offered this today.
Yeah, that font is super cool.
Right? It's gorgeous. Like the color scheme, the graphic design, it's all perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, how great is that? It's got the nice 76 logo in it. Yeah, I love it. Also, Mark, what the hell did you do to that plate, buddy?
Yeah, it's seen some things.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have old license plates from your cars, Ian?
I think I have the ones from the Saab, and that's about it. Never really kept them because in Michigan, the plate went with the car.
Right.
And I think the same was true in Oklahoma.
Okay.
Maybe. So yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah.
What about? I know you have a couple, right?
I have some Missouri plates, and
Right.
my dad's plates are still on the garage wall back in KC, so I'll get those at some point.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I still remember the license plate of my first car, BL6118.
Shh, don't dox yourself.
That's not any of my security questions. The following things are. Yeah. Back when you had separate car and truck plates, did you have that growing up anywhere?
Yes, Illinois has that still.
Okay.
They have truck plates. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But you're right. Colorado should bring this back. This is
Right?
it's a much better design than what we have now.
Yeah, I don't want to wait until the year 2076 to get this back. Right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I'll be
Put in the call. Make it happen.
okay. On
Fetch
it.
me a kitten.
Man, you know what?
Those claps are going to come through great over Google Meet.
This is what I should have shown you instead of interrupting a nursing mom cat. Okay.
Right.
Our buddy Jesse sent this in, and this is fucking awesome. Okay. She said, I think Dave needs this as his fun car. All right. Boom. Here you go.
Oh my God.
It's a lifted Ford Mustang. It's like pretty new, weird taillights though. But Jesus, it looks awesome.
It's for sale. I wonder if the jack stands come with it.
I hope so. Those are pretty good jack stands.
Right? Yeah, you need to put in a call on this immediately.
You think this should be my next project car?
Yes.
You want me to show up to the track in this?
Yeah, just drive straight. You did no corners.
How fun would it be to just rip through the plains in this, right?
Oh, so much fun.
Ian, I'd like to call your attention to the wheel chalk doing all of the heavy lifting in this picture. Look at the little wheel chalk down here, and look. I mean, these tires have to be like 46-inch. I don't know, like they are big tires. Yeah,
that is a tiny little
wheel chalk.
I love it because it kind of gives you scale for like the size of the boulders they have under the other wheels. That tiny little wheel chalk.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Harbor Freight bucket is only like a third of the height. Like it barely comes up to the rim of the wheel.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Right? Yeah. So let's see. I think she gave us another view here.
That thing's got to be painfully slow.
Right? Yeah. Oh my God, I cannot even imagine. Look at that. It has a rake too. It's like doing the Carolina squat. Yeah.
Right, it's got the reverse rake.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know what's hanging off the front of this, but it's pretty rad.
Ballast?
Yeah, exactly. That's where they put the dude from like Mad Max Fury Road that huffs spray paint and plays bass guitar the whole time.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Right? So there you go. That's what I should have shown you instead of getting you a kitten.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. So then our good buddy Eric in Illinois saw a brand new Ford Bronco, and he noticed something a little odd about it. I think this might be the first Bronco spotted in the wild that is poorly modified. Yeah.
Is it modified?
He said the rear wheels looked odd, so it looks like they maybe put spacers on them.
Oh,
or
weird.
Are on their way to other mods. Right? Look how much those stick out. Yeah, here, you want to go back to the first picture?
Well, but it also looks crooked.
Right.
Maybe it's just the perspective of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
It looks strange.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, you're right though, because they are sticking out past the fenders, which you typically don't see on like factory cars.
Right. Yeah.
Huh. Weird.
Yeah. Right? What do you think of the Ford Bronco, and are you going to get the chance to maybe drive one soon?
I hope to get the chance to drive one in just mere hours. I don't know. I'm not that excited about it.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. The idea that like you're going to I feel like bringing back the SUV nameplates like doesn't do anything for me because it's not going to be anything like the fucking tractors that used to be SUVs, right?
Right.
So, I mean, it might be nice. I don't care that it's called a Bronco.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything for me, but I'm excited to check it out and see what it's all about for sure.
Me too. I think like the thing that like makes me kind of care about it or not is just how bad Chevy fucked up the Blazer. Like,
yeah,
right? Like that is such a bad crossover thing.
Such a missed opportunity. Yeah.
Right? Like, because like Ford did this, like it's not hard to like actually have like some good design and like kind of drum up some nostalgia bullshit, like, right? Like people play this fucking song all the time, man. Like,
I mean, we're seeing it now. I mean, like the Countach and
yeah,
whatever the fuck that is, and then the big thing is the Integra is coming back.
Right. We're very excited about that.
I saw somebody on Twitter said something about, it's going to end up being a small crossover.
Sport crossover. Yeah.
And I said, the thing that I said was, don't Mitsubishi this one up, Toyota. Or Honda.
Right.
Sorry. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. I think
fantastic.
I think that's about all we have for listener Maya. So thank you for sending that in. All right, Ian, I'm going to give you
excited license plate game.
This is what we're going to go out on. So I have two for you here. All right. Okay. Do you want me to give you the title and you pick which one you want to do tonight?
Sure.
Okay. So first one's the theme is new car, old plate. Okay. The second theme is, oh Lord.
Give me, oh Lord.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let the record show that we're playing oh Lord tonight.
Yes. Or Lord.
Or Lord.
Really hit those R's.
Yes. Okay.
We're
Ian.
in America. Yes.
Here you go. Oh Lord. Up at the top while you're taking this in, Ian. While you're taking this in, I'm going to narrate it. Okay, here we go. First up, you have a Toyota RAV4 sent in to us by Jesse that's seen some better days. All right. It's just a white Toyota RAV4. In the middle here, you have a picture taken by yours truly of a beigey, champagne-y, whatever Lexus.
Sort of greenish?
Yeah, I think it might have just been I think that's not so accurate. Maybe a touch greenish. What is that? Like that's like the IS 250, right? The little Lexus boy. Okay. Yep. Then down at the bottom here, our good buddy PETA, always reliable for a vanity plate, sent in an Audi Q7, a white Audi Q7. So we have two white SUVs and one beige sedan. Okay. Now the plates here are Blessed, 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 BLES 53D, because they got the plate later than the first person, right?
Right.
And then the third one, the rapscallion of the bunch, Archangel, ARCANGL. Ian, what do you think about this plate game, buddy?
Wow.
Uh-huh. I want to know all the mental stuff that's going on.
Well, first of all, I need to see these stickers that are at the top of the RAV4.
Yes.
That's my first question.
So those are like the Nepalese flags that are typically taken up to the top of Mount Everest, and like people use them like you see them hanging around like people's doorways, and it's like, good blessings and whatnot, right? I'm sure there's a name for these things. Also, like here, I'll give you some more detail on the RAV4. The bumper is not in a good way. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. This person at Home Depot next to them.
If they're blessed, they're not blessed with spatial awareness. So there's been a lot of bumping into things and scraping the bumper. And
Yep. Okay. Then we have our F Sport IS 250.
It's pronounced F-Sport.
F-Sport. Yes, 250.
The F-Sport.
Yep. Okay.
No context clues whatsoever.
I would disagree with that.
Clear glass.
Yep. I would disagree with the no.
There's a little sticker on the back.
There we go. Now my boy.
What is that?
I don't know.
Well, that's not helpful.
It is though.
Do you know what it is?
No, I don't.
Oh. And then we have the Q7.
We have the Q7 down at the bottom here. Just like any other Q7, there's absolutely nothing remarkable about this Q7.
Right.
This is the 3.0T. Good on you, buddy.
Yeah, some tint, but that's it.
Right.
Some slight tint.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? So what do you think, Ian?
Man,
Tell me what you think like the obvious answer is here.
I'm not sure that there is an obvious answer.
Okay.
I think. Well, so here's my thought: is that blessed? I think is probably it's got to be an older person.
Okay. All right.
Because that must be an in-demand plate.
Oh yeah, right.
Right?
So they were the first ones to hop on. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But the problem is with any one of these cars could plausibly be driven by an older person. I think that the Lexus is probably the least likely to be driven by an older, which sounds like a weird thing to say in any given group of cars. But this particular Lexus, I don't think the IS is not what you associate with old people, right?
Right. Yeah.
I think that it's blessed, OG blessed for the RAV4.
Okay.
Archangel for the Lexus.
Okay.
And remixed blessed for the Q7.
Right. Bless 3D. 3 dimensions of bless.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your final answer, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to change your answer?
No.
Okay. Ian, you got one right.
God damn it.
But
Whoa.
But Ian, your instincts are correct in that the white SUVs. Oh wait, no, you got it.
I got
100%.
it completely right.
You got it completely right, Ian. I'm sorry. In my head, I had the SUVs swapped.
Yeah. No, I got that.
You got that shit perfect. Nice, dude. Yeah, look at the RAV4 person hopping on the blessed plate early, and then rolling up to the the home goods late.
Yeah. That picture, Q7. I guarantee that RAV4 lives in Boulder.
Yes. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So so thank you, Jesse. Thank you, PETA. Yes, for sending us the blessings of white crossovers. And then today I saw, because I've had blessed and blessed forever. And I've been hoping that I could find another version of blessed and just give you 3 blesseds.
Oh my God.
Right. But then I saw Archangel and I was like, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
So there we go.
Well done. That was a good one, Dave. I like that.
That is our 19th license plate game that we've played.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. Right.
Huh.
So there you go.
Well, that's the 19th one that you've given me, right?
Yes.
I've given you a couple.
Oh, too. Yeah. That's the 19th one that I've given you. Yeah, there we go. I'm not counting yours.
Smart. I think that's accurate. I think we did a car show that was semi about cars.
You're right. It was about cars. It was about stuff. Some kittens showed up,
Yep.
And then, our timelines were blessed with white crossover cars. And Archangel, who was listening to like new metal in that Lexus, right?
Something.
Right? Yep. So there you go. So Ian, tell people what to do.
They should not give awards to cars that belong to Nazis.
Boom.
They should call us on our hotline, our mild line, 720-515-1391.
Yes.
God. They should email us, apexadjacent@jamal.com, and then catch us on the socials.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
I mean, we love you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too, I suppose. It's fine. Fetch me a kitten!